Hello out there to you. In this video, we're going to fill in a cost function chart based on a production function which we've been given over here. We also need the marginal product of labor. Okay, so we've got Snow White in her bakery. She's only making croissants for some reason. Perhaps she's in France, not in Germany. Who knows? But she can hire 7 workers to help her with the bakery. The bakery has fixed costs of 1,000, so that means it doesn't change. Each worker can be hired for $200 per week. Okay, so if you were tackling this problem from square one, you'd need to know what all of these little symbols mean, so I'm going to tell you. So anytime you see M on the front of this is marginal. So the MPL is the marginal product of labor. Okay, so it's the additional output from each worker or dwarf in this case. I see MC over on the right there. That's our friend marginal cost. Okay, it's the additional cost of producing each additional unit. And so in this case, it's going to be the change in total cost divided by the change in quantity. So we're going to have to do some sort of different calculations than a simpler problem on this one. TFC, that's total fixed cost. TFC is total fixed cost. TVC is total variable cost. TC, total cost. AFC, average. Anytime you see A, it's average. Okay, so you got to spell average right. Average fixed cost, and average, or AVC is average variable cost. I've run out of room, so let's start a new spot over here. Yeah, we'll just put it right here. AVC is average variable cost. And then finally, ATC is average total cost. Okay, so those are what all of those are. It does help, I suggest you do this, have a list of all these formulas. Okay, I'm going to use these in my calculations. Looks like it didn't quite follow that over there. But anyway, so marginal product of labor is the change in total product divided by the change in labor units. Now in this case, we're just hiring an additional worker, so we're dividing by 1, so we can just clearly type in whatever we're after. So the first worker brings us 300 units, so it's the change. It's the change from 300 to 0, so that would be 300. Okay. Next is from 300. The next worker brings the difference of 300 to 900, which is 600. The next worker, we go from 1700, or from 900 to 1700. You can subtract. You could take 1700 minus 900 and you get 800. Okay. Then 1700 to 2100, that's a difference of 400. Then that's a difference of 200. That's a difference of 150. And that's a difference of 100. Okay, we've got a marginal product of labor filled in totally. Okay, total fixed cost. Okay, so they actually tell us this. The total fixed cost is 1,000. Sometimes that's referred to as the cost of capital. So we're just going to fill in 1,000, and I'm going to copy that so I can just do that quicker. Okay, our total variable cost, well, I should probably say this, but our fixed costs don't change. So we're not going to change our fixed costs. So that's why they're staying the same. They're fixed in the short run. That's a popular test question. In the short run, we have fixed costs. Okay, variable costs. If I don't produce anything, so when I'm quantity 0, I'm not going to produce anything, so I don't have any variable costs. Okay. So now I hire 1 worker, and we're told up here in the problem the dwarf's wages are $200 per week. Okay, Seems kind of low, but whatever. All right, so it's the first worker times 200, so that would be 200. The next worker we hire, now we're paying 2 dwarves at 200 each, so that's 400. This is gonna increase by 200 for each dwarf. That should make sense because each one has the same wage. They are perfectly competitive dwarves. I don't know if that's true. Isn't there a guy called Sleepy? I don't know. He's probably not as productive as everybody else. Okay. All right, so total cost, we need total cost. That's total fixed cost plus total variable cost. So we can kind of write that in here. This plus this equals this. So now this is going to be 1,000. I kind of drew that on the line. Oh well. This is going to be 1,200. This is going to be 1,400. I should do one of those, you know, those things where they stop the video and then it magically fills in all the numbers. I should do one of those. Imagine I'm doing that, or speed up the video. This is a good practice thing if you wanted to pause the video and see if you could do it yourself. You could have gone back and tried to fill it all in. That's always a good strategy, I think. Then you got me to show you what the answers are. But however you want to use the videos. All right, we're done with that. Average fixed cost. This is anytime you're averaging anything. So for all of these, it's whatever this is divided by quantity. So this would be fixed cost divided by quantity. This is variable cost divided by quantity. And this is total cost divided by quantity. But what we're going to do actually is once you know average fixed cost and average variable cost, you can add those guys together, and then that'll give you your average total cost. Actually, while we're over here, let's do marginal cost. Nah, let's not. Okay, so let's fill in. The first one we can do in our head, it is, well, you don't really have, actually, you don't have, this would be 1,000 divided by 0. So that's not a thing, right? That would be an undefined number. So we actually don't need to mess around with that. That would be divided by 0. That would be divided by 0. So we don't need to do that. The next one would be 1,000 divided by 300. So that's like a, it's like 33 and a third. Okay. Let me make sure. On that. So just go 1,000. 300. Yep. Oh, no. I was off by the decimal places. So, yeah, see. So it would be actually 3.33. That sounds much better. Okay. Then 1,000 divided by 900. We get 1.1. I don't know why I lost my bolded numbers. It's weird. Then 1,700. So 1,000 divided by 1,700 is 0.58. 0.58. Then 1,000 divided by 2,100. 0.47. Then 1,000 divided by 2,300 is 0.43. 1,000 divided by 2,450, 0.40. Then 1,000 divided by 2,550, 0.39. All right, now average variable cost. So we just need the variable cost, the total variable cost divided by quantity. So the first one is 200 over 300. I'm pretty sure I can do that one in my head. It's 0.67. And then that would mean that the total cost would be $1,200 divided by 300, which is $4. So in that case, it worked. 3 3 1/3 plus 2/3 equals 4. Okay. Next one, we are at 400 divided by 900. That's 4 over 9, which is 0.44. Okay. Then we can add 0.44 to 1.11, and we should get 150. So let's make sure. 1,400 over 900. Oh, it's a little bit more. So it's if you don't want to round, 1.55. A bit more. Okay, next one is 600 divided by 1,700. That's 0.35. Then 800 divided by 2,100. 0.38. And 1,000 divided by 2,300. 0.43. Going back up again. Then 1,200 divided by 2,450. 0.48. And then finally 1,400 divided by 2,550. That's 0.540. Okay. Now to save us time, I'm just going to add these together and then go down the line there. So 0.58 plus 0.35 is 0.93. Notice what's happening here. It's decreasing. It's getting cheaper. 0.47 plus 0.38 is 0.85. Still getting cheaper. Benefiting from economies of scale, we would say. This one is 0.86. Oh, it started to increase. This one is 0.88. And then this one is 0.93 or 94 cents. There. Okay, now I've got average total cost. Okay, so marginal cost is the change in total cost, so the change from here to here, divided by the change in quantity. Okay, so that would be, that's what's going on here. So we do need to divide by the change in quantity. That's what makes this one a little bit different. So this is an increase of 200. In fact, if you look down the line, this is always an increase in 200. So that'll actually save us some time. It's just 200 divided by the change in quantity. So that's all we have to really pay attention to. So the first one will be 200 divided by 300, which we already did. That's just 2/3. Okay, so that would be 0.67. So let's do this in red here. Okay, next one is 200 divided by, actually you could divide by the marginal product of labor if you look at that. So 200 divided by 600, that's, we can do that in our head, that's 1/3, so that would be 0.33. Then the next one would be 200, that's 1/4. So 200 divided by 800. 200 divided by 400 is 0.5 or 50 cents. 200 divided by 200, hey, that's 1. So a little easier. 200 divided by 150, I just want to make sure. 1 1/3. Okay. and then 200 divided by 100 is 2. Okay, we've done what we needed to do. We filled in the chart. We can look at some things if you needed to. You can notice that whenever marginal cost is lower than average variable cost or average total cost, the average is decreasing. And that's going to happen right up to this point for average total cost. And it actually immediately happens in average variable cost right about here, the third one. You can also look at when marginal cost is decreasing, marginal product of labor is increasing. In other words, the workers are getting more productive and the costs are decreasing. Additionally, average fixed cost will always decrease as quantity increases. It's just the way it goes because we're dividing everything by 1,000. And I don't think it asked us any other questions. We just filled in the chart. And so you could then profit maximize if you knew what the price of these croissants were and they were perfectly competitive. We could just compare it to that column there and we're all set.